Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher from We Are Film, and today I'm going to be going over my URSA Mini Pro G2 rig. This is going to be a pretty laid-back video. It's going to be just no edits or anything crazy unless something happens. And I wanted to go over sort of just what I have going on this URSA Mini Pro G2, sort of what maybe are the accessories that I bought, a little bit of why, and then just kind of talk about how I have everything rigged out and set up. It's nothing too crazy, but I thought it'd be a good video to show you guys and might be interesting. So this is the URSA Mini Pro G2. Obviously, it is the base to everything. And I mean, I absolutely love this camera. I don't need to sell you on this camera because you're probably here for that reason. So I'm not going to talk too much about the camera, but obviously more about the actual rig and setup around it. Now, one of the first things that you may notice is I actually don't use a rig per se, like the shoulder rig, because you can buy the shoulder rig or some of the other things, but I'm personally not too crazy about those. I used it and it's not my favorite. I just don't work that way. So I use the Easy Rig a lot, which is actually what this guy is up here. This is the Easy Rig quick release plate, which I need to tighten actually. But my favorite thing is to add cage parts. So I do want to talk about the cage parts that I use and sort of why I use them. So the first one that you can probably already see up top here is the small rig, and you'll see a lot of small rig stuff. I'm gonna move that out of my face. So this is the small rig top cheese plate for the URSA Mini Pro. I think it's for the Pro and the G2 Pro. So the plate is right here, and basically the plate is just the cheese plate. It snaps on or screws onto the top of the camera, and of course gives you tons of mounting and accessories. One of my favorite things about it, which I'm actually not utilizing right now, but I probably will at some point, is so I ended up getting a top handle. I love the small rig top handle. It was really cheap and was great. I mean, so was the top plate too. So the top handle just bolts right down. One thing I probably will do at some point is, the nice thing about the top cheese plate is it actually has a NATO rail. So if I had a NATO rail, I could slide, top handle, I could slide that on and off, so I could take it on and off. I don't really need to that often, but if that's something that's important to you, the NATO rail is there and it is ready to go. So again, top cheese plate from small rig, handle from small rig, and then one of the other main things that is sort of rig based on the other side over here is the handle. And this handle is also from small rig. I'm not sponsored by small rig at all. I just really like their stuff. And the thing about this is obviously it's the rosette or rose, however you say it, which I believe is the RE standard. So yeah, that's really nice. I love the wooden handle. It feels really nice to grip. I have mine tilted down ever so slightly, so when I hold it, my hand's a little more comfortable. It's not like perfectly straight. So when it comes to rig parts, like physical rig and cage parts, that's pretty much it. The other part is going to my monitor. So let me kind of talk about what we got going up here. So I'm going to turn it back around so it's easier to see. So, at least for you guys. So up top right here, this is a small rig double ball mount. And basically this thing is a monitor arm. So the cool thing is it's a double ball mount. So you can see this thing can swivel any which way. And because there's two of them, it can easily just do whatever. And I love that because when it comes to shooting a lot of run and gun stuff, which is what I'm doing, you never know what's going to happen. So for me, I mean, I pretty much keep it in the same position most of the time. So I probably could get away with like one of the Andy Cine ones. I actually am using on the GH5 right now. I could probably get away with one of those. I just really like the double ball head, and it was pretty cheap too. So I decided to use that to hold my monitor. Speaking of monitor, so this is the Atomos Shinobi. And the reason why I got the Shinobi was two things. So if you're not familiar with the URSA Mini Pro G2, maybe you're thinking about getting it, one of the things that struck me off the bat is there is no HDMI. So when it comes to a monitor like my Focus, which I'm using right now on the GH5, there's no HDMI. So unless you were to get a converter, which I hate HDMI anyway, so it gave me the excuse to buy and use an SDI. So the great thing is that the Shinobi has an SDI version. There's also, which I noticed there's actually an HDMI in on this too. So I don't remember if there's two different versions or whatever it may be. But anyway, the Shinobi takes Sony NPF batteries, which is great because I have a ton of those laying around. Of course, it has the SDI. It does have the HDMI in case I ever wanted to use it with something else. And it's simple. It's just really, really simple. I will say I'm not as big of a fan of the Shinobi's tools as much as I am of the Small HD. Like, I really love the Small HD focus and the tools that it has. But to be honest, really I just need something that's a little bit bigger, because obviously this side one sucks in the URSA. That's just, it is what it is. So I just needed something that was going to give me a bigger preview and could, you know, house LUTs or things like that. And the Shinobi does that. So that's all I needed to do, and that's all I need. Obviously, if you want something more intense, I would probably go with like a Small HD 702 or 701 or the 701 Bright or whatever it is, something in that realm. But for me, for now, it doesn't matter. If you see me looking up there, I'm just looking at the monitor to see what's in frame. So the SDI cable that I'm actually using, so originally it came with this black cable that was really long. It was really long. And I didn't really care for it. You could tell it was like bending, and it was like, it would stay wherever it was bent. So I ended up going with the LAN part, which they're pretty much like the SDI cable company. I mean, there's probably another one, but this is a super nice cable. I hate that it's like this copper brown because it looks kind of ugly. But it was the shortest SDI cable I could find, because what I do is I run it, and I run it over the hand grip here, or underneath the actual ball head piece right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I run it right over the hand grip, and then it goes to the back SDI port right there. I like the back one because on the URSA Mini Pro G2, you can control a lot of this back SDI out where you can't control some of the side ones. You can control whether it's like a cinematographer's monitor or a director's monitor, which is a really nice, handy thing to have. So yeah, so the Shinobi, just Anton Bauer V mounts that I use, or sorry, not V mounts, Sony MPF that I use for the focus, and I have a couple of those. So, and then you'll see right below this there is another SDI cable. This is actually a time code cable. So this SDI cable right here is running up and around to what I have up here, and I'll tilt it back so you can probably see that, which is the tentacle sync. So I have the tentacle sync up here, and the cool thing about the tentacle sync is, I did a video all about this, and I'll link that in the description below, but the nice thing is the tentacle sync supports time code, obviously out, and one of the great things about the URSA Mini Pro G2 is that it also has a dedicated time code reference in. So what's great about this is I can just have this running the whole time, on any old shoe, even if I'm not using time code, because it's generating a true, you know, actual time code that I can sync with a clock. So even if I'm not using it to sync with another device, I actually have the time of day that I shot everything, and it's a lot easier maybe for organization, or if I want to know maybe on what day I shot something, I can easily go back and check the actual time to a T. So that's kind of handy, but obviously if I'm using sync and I'm doing syncing later, to be able to have that time code reference in and having it go to the tentacle sync is awesome. I love the tentacle sync. Right now I just have the little like Velcro pad up there, so it just sticks. There are like little like holders basically that you can screw into the cage. I don't really know if I need one of those. I might get one anyway. I don't know, they're kind of cool. But yeah, so anyway, that is the other cable that you see, and that's the cable from Tentacle Sync themselves. I ordered the actual cable from them. So yeah, those are the two SDI cables that are coming to the monitor, and obviously, like I said, I went over all the cage stuff. Now, just to talk briefly, because this isn't totally rig related, but for lenses, I have a couple different lenses. I have a Sigma 50, a Sigma 18-35, which I pretty much live on that thing I'm using right now. I have a Canon 135, and then also have a Tokina 11-16. Those are the lenses that I run with unless I'm renting one for a different reason, if I need to use cinema lenses for whatever reason. But I do love these lenses, and all of them have the Manfrotto Zoom, which I've talked about in another video, front piece, because not because I use the NDs, because obviously the URSA Mini Pro G2 has built-in NDs, but one thing that I love is that I can add filters, and in particular, one of my favorite ones that I don't have here with me right now is the Black Pro Mist 1.8. So I use that quite often. I have the 82mm version, and I have it stepped down to 77 because they're all 77. And then I can easily just slap that on and off whenever I want to use it, or if I don't want to use it, I can just put it away and not have to worry, and I have all the magnetic lens caps, which are somewhere. Yeah, so those are the lenses, but yeah. So next I'm going to jump on to the super expensive part. Most expensive accessories. I have 3 of these, and these are the 256 gig Sandisk Extreme Pro CFast 2.0 cards. So I have 3 of these. I will say that the second one I ordered was actually dead on arrival, so I had to send that back. So just keep that in mind. What I did in order to actually make sure these were good is when I ordered a new one, I actually put it in the camera, I formatted it, recorded something, formatted it again. I did it like 4 times. Once that seemed to, you know, knock on wood, but everything seemed to be fine. So just make sure you format it several different times and test that beforehand, because I noticed with the other card, it was the second time that I formatted it, it was completely dead. So I guess it wasn't technically dead on arrival, but basically. So I have 2 of those in the camera right now. And you can see there's the second one in the other slot, and I have a third one just kind of sitting aside. But yeah, so that's what I use for media. I don't use the SD cards and I don't use the USB-C. Those are nice and they're handy, but the USB-C to me, it's just the fact that it's inside. If the USB-C was like up top or on the outside, I'd probably just use that. But the fact that it's not is just super annoying and it's stupid. So lastly, I want to talk about batteries, because we'll go to the back here slowly. I have to remember the name. So these are the Hypercore 98 Slims. So I actually bought 4 of these batteries, and these things are awesome. Like, I'll probably do a full review on them alone, but I can't tell you how much I love these. So of course they are V-mounts, just like the URSA Mini Pro G2 takes, although you can put Anton Bauer mount, gold mount. The thing about these batteries that I love is they are very, very slim. You can kind of see, if I move it a little bit, yep, you can see like that. These are super slim. I think my heat just kicked on. And they're super lightweight, but they can run the camera for roughly about 3 hours and 20 minutes. Now, of course, this depends on how much power you're actually drawing and how much you need. And you know, I love that the camera itself shows the correct battery percentage. It's super accurate. These are just the best. Like, I would not recommend picking up any other type of batteries out there. The only other type of batteries that I might recommend picking up are the larger versions of these, or like a true Anton Bauer battery. I've just been super happy with these, and like I said, I can't speak highly enough. I have never gone through more than, I think, 2.5 batteries all day, and I have 4 of them. So for me, there's no chance of running out of battery on those 4 unless there was something ridiculous. But we even shot a wedding with it, which we did a video on too. We can check in the description below. So super happy with these batteries. It comes with a dual charger. I bought like a 2 kit with a dual charger, and then I bought 2 extra. And yeah, they're just awesome. I just love these batteries. They're so nice. You can see the little indicator. You can probably see it on screen, I think. And then if I, oh, a little light comes on. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The rig is pretty basic. I don't like to do anything too crazy. You know, I don't like to have a mic or anything on top, like a shotgun mic or anything. I just want it to be as stripped down as I possibly can. Just financially, like I don't want to have to add a ton of extra parts, but also that just adds on weight. And the less weight I can have, the better. Yeah, so I've been super happy with the URSA Mini Pro G2. I mean, the footage out of it just looks so good. And I feel like I haven't even tapped into all that it can do, especially the 300 frames or like the 4K 120. I haven't even jumped into that stuff. And I can't wait to try some anamorphic stuff too. So if you're interested in that, leave a like down in the comments below, or leave us a comment down in the comments below about what you want to see. And be sure to like the video too. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.